Well, my name is Angelica Renaud. I'm the owner of the Math Magician Bookkeeping, and I'm one of the students in Bryce's coaching program. And today I'm going to be speaking with you about my bookkeeping journey. This is a way for me to kind of document my process of, during growing my business and just kind of to help keep me accountable and to also encourage anybody out there that may have been going through something similar to what I was going through literally 3 months ago. So you may have seen my other video on how to become a bookkeeper, and I talked about some of these things in it. But for those of you who haven't seen that video, I'm basically going to start off with how I got started in bookkeeping. So a few years back, my cousin, she is a registered CPA in the state of Texas. She has her own bookkeeping business that she does on the side, and she got pregnant and needed some help and asked if I would be interested in learning how to categorize and reconcile transactions for her. Now, at this time, I was actually trying to become a makeup artist and didn't really care about anything with the accounting field at all. But she's my family, so I figured, yeah, I'll help you out. Well, I just fell in love with the actual work, I guess the tediousness of it. It's kind of like a big fun puzzle, and I just really took to it. This made me pursue wanting to go to college to get my bachelor's degree in business management and accounting. And then I also, after she had the baby and didn't really need me around anymore, we had moved to Colorado, and I worked at an accounting firm while I was out there. And basically, they only really needed, they were hiring an office assistant, but during the actual interview, I told them my plans to actually become a bookkeeper or accountant eventually, and so I would love to have that type of experience. So they hired me officially as an office assistant, but they let me have some of the bookkeeping tasks that they didn't really do. And I just ended up learning a lot from the accountants and tax accountants there because it was like a full service accounting firm with auditors, tax accountants, regular accountants, so on and so forth. So it was a really good place to actually learn and grow my expertise with that. But I was under this assumption the whole entire time that if I wanted to have my own business eventually, that I would have to, for one, graduate college, and for two, have several, 10 years of experience under my belt before I could ever break out on my own. And basically, my goals for starting my business was to have something that I could do remotely or something that would give me a little more freedom. Mostly because my husband and I turned this school bus into a tiny home. That's what I'm sitting in right now. And we plan on traveling the country with it. We don't want to just sit around in it. It is stationary right now, but we do plan on traveling the country in it. And so I kept thinking of ways that I could actually do that without having to have a brick and mortar job and to be able to actually do things remotely. And I knew whenever I got things set up with my cousin, she lived in a different part of Texas than I did. And I was like, this is really cool that we can use this bookkeeping software, QuickBooks, and be able to access it virtually and remotely from two complete different areas. And so that is one of the things that really appealed to me about wanting to do bookkeeping to eventually break out on my own, is that I could access things virtually. Another thing, one of my goals was to get to a point within that where my husband would no longer have to work as much at his job, or not even work in it at all. So, he works he works so hard for us, and it honestly wouldn't be possible for me to have this business without him. So I want to give back to him and be able to give him a chance to experience whatever he wants to do on his own. So those are some of the reasons that I wanted to start my business and kind of my goals. And so whenever I first got started, when I actually first broke out, I was a little unsure of what to do on my own. Basically, I stayed on with the accounting firm for about a month or so after I started my business. But as soon as I got my first client, I ended up leaving because I didn't want it to be like a conflict of interest or them feel like I was trying to poach any of their clients, because that's not what I intended to do. I actually ended up getting my first client by literally going through several different industries on Google, and I would go about through 50 to 100 a day, look up their business website, and find their email address. And here's a hack for you guys. If you aren't able to find a email address off of a business's website, if they have a Facebook associated with that, you just may be able to find their email address because it's usually listed in their about info on their Facebook page. Anyways, there's a tip for you there. But basically, I would just go through about 50 to 100 of those accounts of businesses and just email them saying, hi, I'm a new bookkeeper in the area and I just wanted to reach out and let you know these are the services I offer. If you're interested, or if anybody you know is interested, da 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 da. And then, like I said, within my first month, I ended up getting my first client. And then I had about 2 or 3 others shortly after that, but they were like really small businesses, maybe paying me like $100 to $150 a month. It wasn't anything crazy. And I was only charging $25 an hour. I had looked up what I should be charging, and it was around $40 an hour from what I could see. But I felt like because I was a new bookkeeper, I shouldn't be charging as much as a bookkeeper who's been in the industry for 10 plus years, so I kind of held myself back by doing that. And then, not to mention, because I wanted my business to work so badly, I kind of let some of my clients take advantage of me, which was unfortunate. I just kind of bent over backwards, was ready for them, any time of day, sometimes nights, sometimes weekends, just doing anything and everything without even raising my prices, just kind of getting walked all over. And I knew that I needed to make a change. So I had kind of reached out a few times to some people that could help within like the business, like bookkeeping sphere, on some type of training on how to price and do what have you. And I did reach out to Pure Bookkeeping, I think. Yeah. And they have a really good plan, but at that time I couldn't afford what they were asking. And I was so scared to spend any money out of my business because I wasn't making that much money. And so I was really, really scared to do anything like that and to actually invest into it and feel like I may not get what I need out of it. So, like I said, I had been looking around and trying to figure out what exactly I needed to do. I just wasn't sure how to grow. I also met with Mark Wickersham, and he does like the value pricing, and I did actually learn a lot from that. So I ended up doing his like value pricing academy and signed up with him back in 2021. And I learned a lot from him actually on how to price myself, how to find the value in pricing myself, to switch over from doing an hourly rate to a flat rate, using like a pricing calculator. So that was really nice, but he didn't really show me how I should be looking for new clients. He helped a lot more so with like clients that you already have, which is fine and dandy. But I was still looking for new clients. I was still looking for that work because I didn't really have a lot of clients still. I probably had about 5 in 2021, and again, they were all somewhat small. I started picking up some momentum because I was still charging hourly, and there were a few that were cleanups, and I was able to get a little bit more money out of it. But I was able to raise my price from 25 to 40 an hour, and that still was not a whole lot. And then when I started doing the flat rate thing, it was more of a choose your own package type of deal between basic, intermediate, and advanced of the type of services they wanted. And surprise, surprise, majority of people wanted basic bookkeeping because majority of the time people feel like they can handle a lot of it on their own, and they'll pay you like the lowest price. There's some that won't, but a few of the businesses I was looking to work with were doing that. So I decided to change a lot of things up. Probably like I was going through. I was doing steady income. I had raised the price on one of my clients that I had for a while, and they went from paying me like $200 a month to $500 a month. I knew exactly I was going to get 500 even each month. And that was exciting to me. And I stayed busy with them doing a bunch of stuff. Well, all of a sudden, 3 months ago, they decided to tell me that they sold their business and that the new owners were bringing on their own bookkeeper. They wanted to keep me on for a short period of time during the transition, but it scared me to death because I had a few other smaller clients that it probably paid me about $350 total. And I was worried to death. I'm going to be losing a $500 a month client. That's a lot for me. There's no way that I'm going to be able to survive. My business is going to be able to survive or do anything. Obviously, my husband's working, so that made things easier. But still, I didn't want to just leave all of the, work on his shoulders. So I started freaking out, seeing what I could do, thinking of how I could reach out to people because I started using Thumbtack back when I started my business, and I was getting most of my clients through that. But majority of the clients I was getting were very small and not really worth my time for most of them. But it just happened to be one day I was freaking out about it, and I popped on YouTube and I looked up advertising for bookkeepers. And I saw one of Bryce's videos. And I believe it was something about how bookkeepers should attract clients or something like that. And he said, basically, instead of posting on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that, like reach out to people and actually make meaningful connections. And that scared me to death because I'm an actually pretty introverted person and just didn't feel comfortable with that idea. But I kept watching more and more of his videos, and it was different from a lot of other things that I had seen on YouTube or whatever, where it's like, oh, if you want new clients, just, make this content. And it's like, well, I don't have time to make all that content. I'm, doing all this stuff, and I'm not a very super creative person when it comes to making that content. And I don't have the money to hire someone to do the advertising for me. So what do I do? And so I just kept watching Bryce's videos, and a lot of what he said really made sense to me. So I booked a call with him, and then I was able to, whenever we had our phone call, he was very blunt with me, like, you want to grow your business, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, well, you're going to need to make some changes. You know that. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's just scary. And even now, sometimes I fight some of those things. And a lot of it was confidence related too. I still fight a lot with that. But literally 3 months ago, I was making $800 a month, and now I am making $3,600 a month. And the way that what basically has changed for me is since I joined Bryce's coaching program, I started making more meaningful connections with businesses as potential clients. I've contacted other people to use as referral partners, which basically means getting in contact with someone in a specific industry that you can rely on, that you can refer your clients to, and they can refer their clients to you. So that's one of the things that Bryce taught us. And also getting some subcontracting work. That has helped a lot with making more money. I never even realized that was even a thing that I could do. I guess I was naive to it, but I never even realized that was even an option until I got in Bryce's coaching program. So reaching out and doing the subcontracting work has definitely helped with the revenue that I get each month. And then just actually talking to people, it's helped my confidence. I will say I have a lot more meetings now than I ever did before. A lot of Zoom meetings, some in person, whatnot. There's more things I'm more active in my community about. Like I've been going to the community college here in town and actually giving presentations on like 10 financial tips for a successful business. I have another one coming up next month on how to do basic QuickBooks training. And then pretty much every quarter, I'm going to be going to the community college and doing that. These are not things you have to do, mind you, but just things that I've been more involved in, and I'm not having to spend money to be part of a BNI or a chamber of commerce or anything like that. I'm just basically doing something that works in a very simplistic way and just getting better at it and better at it and better at it. And I ended up landing a client that paid me $1,500 to start off with from a referral partner last month. So that was incredible to get $1,500 for just some for cleanup work, just right off the bat was amazing. And let's see what else. Oh, asking for reviews from my clients has been a big one and something that I actually need to work on. We had a conversation about this in our coaching call yesterday. But there's been so many things that I've implemented, so many changes, but it's all very simplistic. It seems like a lot at first, and I needed something that would be simplistic because I'm the type of person where I think of a really cool idea of like a way that I could be like, oh, I should advertise it like this. And then I end up throwing stuff out there in random directions and it doesn't really land. So having a surefire way and a method that's worked for someone, something else that really wanted to bring me into Bryce's coaching program was watching a testimonial video. Oh, why can I not remember her name right now? Bradley. Bradley's her last name. I know that. Anyway, one of his testimonial videos was of a girl who was very skeptical of working with him at first. And I think she said she went from making like $300 a month and now she makes about $36,000 a year. And that was within like 6 months to a year, something like that. And the idea of working with clients that are willing to pay you $1,000 or more a month was just something I never even thought of was possible. And that was a big confidence and value issue on my part. But it happens a lot more than you think. You're just not going after the right clients. And that's what Bryce has really helped me to figure out and to put my energy into. And it's just really cool to see that. And so this is kind of my log. You know, today's date is August 19th. And just kind of a good checkpoint for me to go back to and see what I was doing then. And then maybe in a few months, I'll record another video of where I'm at now, where I'm at in the future, and what I changed between then, what I've worked on, how much more revenue I'm getting at that point. So I'm very excited to see what the future holds. I hope this video is encouraging to you to let you know that if you are charging low prices, if you are not super confident with yourself because you're just starting out as a bookkeeper, if you're unsure of where to go or what to do, having someone to be an accountability partner and not necessarily hold your hand, but to be there for you whenever you need the help has been crucial. And like I said, I tried other coaching programs and not that they didn't work. There were things I implemented, but for the long run, I wasn't seeing a ton of success. And so I'm very excited that I actually just went for it and spent the money to sign up for his program and just did it. And I mean, he basically reached out and asked if I'd be willing to make these videos. He doesn't have a gun to my head asking me to make them. It's just something that I actually really enjoy doing. I used to make makeup tutorials, so I'm used to being in front of the camera and really like it. So anyway, I hope that y'all got something out of this video. And if you feel like you want to grow your business as well, feel free to sign up with the link down below and book yourself a call with Bryce just to even see what he's about. He's a great guy, I'll tell you. And then don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos from me or Bryce. Check out my other videos on the QuickBooks training if you're trying to become a pro advisor. And yeah, I hope that this helped. I've said that probably 1,000 times now, but y'all have a beautiful day and a wonderful weekend. Bye.